Hi everyone, Casperr here, and thank you for 100,000 subscribers. Thank you also for all the kind words and, of course, your questions. So that's plenty enough ado. Let's jump in. So a few of you wanted to know, why did I start playing TF2, and then consequently, why did I start making TF2 YouTube videos? I actually got the orange box specifically for Portal. I'd seen my friend play some of it on Xbox, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. I need to get that. So at the time, I had a decent PC. I got it on PC. There was actually another friend then in our computing class, because we were all in the same class, who suggested, if you've got the orange box, you should play TF2. And he basically nagged us for ages to play TF2. And eventually we did. And never looked back. When it comes to making videos, I was actually in a competitive TF2 team around, I think, 2013, 2014. And it was kind of just normal to upload some of your frag montages. So that's essentially what all my first videos were. And I must have started to get a little bit of following, and, you know, monkey brain sees numbers go up. So I started making like tips and tricks videos. It was ages before I ever even spoken to a microphone. But eventually I did that, I did live commentaries, and I've done pretty much every genre of TF2 video you can imagine up until this point. But I hope you can see that I've established a style over the more recent videos, and that's kind of the direction I want to keep on going. What is my favorite TF2 memory or moment? Well, as I said just a moment ago, my start in TF2, or when I really got into the game, was when I was on a competitive team. And I've still got friends from that team, like nearly 10 years later, who I still talk to now. I don't play games with them, I talk to them. They're my actual friends. That is something that TF2 has given me, that is obviously amazing. Some of my more cherished moments sort of related to the game itself is getting a staff medal, or, you know, being staff and therefore being recognized in game at the Copenhagen Games. I made the website, so I was staff in that regard. I didn't actually go to the games. And I think that's really cool. You know, there's something that I contributed to that is memorialized actually in-game as an item. So that feels pretty awesome. And also getting the lo-fi long wave from Kritzcast. I'll link a video if you don't know what that hat is, but I remember being aware of that hat really early on when playing TF2, and I thought, oh my god, that is like the beacon of a TF2 legend. So to be by my own score, TF2 legend, that's pretty awesome. Cornelian wants to know if I can do an ad for the Discord server. Well, here it is, guys. I've got a Discord server. I don't run it. Cornelian and some of the community members run it. But, you know, it's officially endorsed. So if you want to hang out with other Casperr fans, talk about things Casperr, and nag me to stream, that's the place to do it. I'll, of course, leave a link in the description. A few of you wanted to know what games that I play other than TF2, and what my first gaming memories are and stuff like that. Well, the first game I ever remember playing actually on a console was Spyro 1, specifically a not-for-resale disc from Blockbuster that I still have to this day. I got this easily 25 plus years ago, or whenever Spyro came out, probably the same year. And actually that sort of then informed what other games that I want to play, because I'm really into 3D platformers, and as I said a moment ago, I love Portal, so there's a lot of puzzle games I like, and I play quite a lot of like chill indie games. Recently, I've played Neon White and Hellpie. They are two really good platformers, quite different, probably both a little bit blasphemous, so if you're religious, I don't actually recommend them, but in terms of platformers, they're excellent. If I had to list some of my favorite games of all time, in no particular order, Super Mario Sunshine, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Tony Hawk's 1 through to Thug 2, Hades, that was excellent in every regard. Celeste, I'm not a big fan of 2D platformers, but Celeste just did something right. Absolutely love A Short Hike. Really small game, but its mood, its tone is just the best wholesome game. I think there's a reason that it's got such rave reviews. Couldn't consider it a hidden gem. I'm actually wearing a Short Hike t-shirt right now. That's how much I love it. And of course, the Portal games. I think they deserve their place as some of the greatest games ever created, because I think they really are. I'll link another video on screen right now. Video games will change your life. That's sort of a video I made, a video essay where I just talk about my favorite games and how they've changed my life. What's my opinion on Ireland? Just like every other country, I love Ireland. Have I played Payday 2? No, but I did think about playing it for the TF2 Cameos video, and I might do a follow-up to that video because a lot of people have given a lot of good suggestions, so maybe I'll play Payday 2 then. What are my favorite hobbies other than games and making content? Well, my day job is as a web developer, and I actually enjoy that. It's a very fulfilling thing to do. I like creating. It sort of hits those same parts of your brain, whereas creating a video, you're creating a website. And I've actually done a lot of stuff in my spare time. I've made a few things for Streamlabs desktop, if anybody uses that to stream. Some of my apps are on there. I've made a few Twitch extensions, and as I mentioned, I made the Copenhagen Games website. I've done a couple of other gaming-related websites and personal project websites over the years as well. I'm also in a punk rock band. Anyone who remembers this old Casperr intro...
Woo! Check it out, Casperr!
Might already know that that is my punk rock band playing that music. And the current outro music that I use is a lo-fi remix of one of our songs done by the singer-guitarist of our band. He's also a good music producer. As with everything, I'll leave a link to our Spotify in the description or wherever you get your music. But we're sort of just, you know... If I could have any item from TF2 in real life, what would it be? Now, there was a caveat in this question that said it can be Australian. Now, while obviously being able to go invincible with an Uber charge or invisible with a spy watch, I do feel like most of the things that you would want to do with that are kind of nefarious. So I'd probably just pick the biggest Australian weapon that I can think of, which is the minigun off the top of my head, and sell it. I'm sure that would fund my life for many years to come. What is my favorite item in all of TF2? Well, that's quite an easy one, because I personally crafted the number 3 Dr. Woe. Now, those of you who don't know what number 3 means, I'm not even sure if this still exists, but once upon a time, when you crafted an item, first time it got added to the game, the first 100 times that item was crafted, it would get a number from 0 to 100. That's unique then. You know, the first one that's crafted is number 1, the second one's crafted number 2, and so on. So this is the only number 3 Dr. Woe. There's no other number 3 Dr. Woe in the game. This is entirely unique to me. This is kind of the selling point of NFTs, by the way. And this has been technically possible for quite some time, so. But also, it's got my name on it. Crafted by Casperr. That, again, it's completely unique to me. And that's one of the things I think is just so awesome about it. It's unique to me. It's my number 3, Dr. Woe. I did this. And that's cool. Next up are a few questions about what I think about the current state, the future of TF2, and did I think Save TF2 worked? Save TF2 absolutely achieved its goal. For those of you who don't really know, or maybe only know a little bit, basically it was a community-led campaign to tell the world why we love TF2. And I saw so many people, like big streamers, big gaming outlets, talking about it. That was all we ever wanted. And everyone seemed to get the message that it was, hey, look, we love your game. Valve, by the way. And the fact that Valve sort of directly responded was good, but I don't really honestly believe that alone has caused them to start doing maybe a few more updates recently. In recording the clips for this video, just the background gameplay, you know, I only needed, I don't know, half hour of gameplay or whatever. It was really frustrating. I was seeing bots constantly. No bot issues seem to be addressed here. It's true that it's slightly easier to kick them now, which is obviously a good thing, but the actual existence of the bots doesn't seem to have changed at all. They are extremely common in my experience and, you know, just as destructive as they've always been. As for the future of TF2, it's really hard to say because I don't think many people would have said 15 years ago we'd still be here with TF2 probably as popular as it's ever been. Obviously, we don't know what the real player numbers are. Again, I'll leave a video on screen explaining why that is. But I mean, if it's made it 15 years, another 5 or 10 years isn't all that unimaginable. And whilst the bots are frustrating, I don't think they're killing TF2. I don't think they would kill TF2, even if they got worse than what they are now. I think TF2 would survive. We've always got community servers and so on. So yeah, I think the future of TF2 is, even without major updates, just the same as it is now, really. Again, I'll leave a video on screen because all of these topics I have sort of covered about what I truly believe the possible futures are of TF2. So it's not just one, here's my bet on the future. It's here's realistically what the future of TF2 might look like. If you haven't seen that one, it might interest you. Will I do a VR, a 100,000 subscriber celebration, or cooking stream? I mean, a VR stream could be really interesting, but my computer struggles enough to stream just with TF2 at the moment. So running like a VR game and streaming from the one computer, probably not gonna happen. This video is my 100k celebration video. So yeah, I'm not planning a 100k stream, but I haven't given up on streaming either. I could talk forever about plans, but there's no point doing that. So if you do want to catch me streaming, follow me on Twitch and maybe one day you'll see the go live notification. I'm not going to do a cooking stream, I'm afraid. I mean, even a TF2 stream only gets a handful of people there. So a cooking stream would basically just be me cooking and talking to myself. And my opinion on onions is that they're good. Next question is, what video do I think made my channel popular? Well, I actually don't have to think about this because my subscriber graph for the last 365 days looks like this. This channel grew by 25%. Bearing in mind that it's existed now as a TF2 channel for 8 or so years, it grew by 25% in a single month. And it was all entirely off the Meet the Team video, which I'm guessing a huge number of you watching this right now found this channel via that video. More specifically, the shorts. So for those of you who aren't aware, YouTube now has something called shorts. They're basically TikToks on YouTube. So if I make long form content, it makes sense to make shorts based off that content. That people will see that, then they go, oh, okay, that sounds interesting, I'll watch more, blah, blah. And that's exactly what's happened. They've worked exactly as intended in this situation. So many people now who have seen these shorts, because I guess shorts just get seen by more people in general, have found my channel as a result. With that said, whilst in the last 90 days, I think I've got around 24,000 subs from shorts, I still got 14,000 subs, which is by far more than I've ever had in a single month before. Even over 3 months, my month record before was something like 3,000 in a single month. So 14,000 over 3 months is still a record-breaking month every month. Those 14,000 subs were still from other places, i.e. not the shorts. So it's almost like YouTube has seen that these shorts are doing really well and have just pushed everything else about my channel at the same time. Now, I could talk for hours about shorts. I've already talked probably too long to interest most people, but I purposely don't push my shorts to subscribers. So if some of you are thinking, hey, Casperr, you do shorts? Yeah, I don't push them to subscribers. I just push my long form video to subscribers because that is the content. If you've already seen the long form video, then there's nothing in the shorts for you. I just set the shorts to exist on my channel. They don't go out to subs, and then YouTube shows them to people, and yeah, they sort of grow organically. So I think that's a fair way to do it. I'm not annoying you guys with 10 shorts every time I upload a long form video, but people who do consume shorts can still see them by the natural shorts mechanics. If you've got any questions for me about shorts or my upload patterns or whatever, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. What was your first cosmetic? I honestly don't remember. It was probably the gibbous. Or should I say, Jibus? Really interesting question here. If I could be memorialized in TF2, what would I want to represent me? Now, this probably will never happen, or I can say with almost certainty that they would never give someone some sort of recognition directly in game, because that happened once before when someone claimed to have a terminal illness and turned out they faked their own death. Not with the intent of getting memorialized in TF2, I want to clarify that, but that sort of shat on Valve's goodwill after that, so I can never see it happening again. But a cosmetic, obviously, that looks like my logo character is the obvious answer here. Either like a head replacement item, or a backpack item where it's like the TV on the back, or just like a nice little pin badge. That would be awesome. And on a related note, why is this my logo character? Well, me and my best friend, same guy who's the singer-guitarist in my punk rock band, we have matching tattoos of the companion cube, specifically the Ratman drawing from Portal 1, next to the poem Not in Cruelty, Not in Wrath. Originally, before I had any sort of presence on Steam, it was literally just me and a couple of real life friends, the only things I had on Steam, my picture on Steam was a photo of my tattoo. After I got some actual online friends, one day one of them just sent me a paint version of my profile picture. So they'd done it in paint and I made that my picture. After a while then I got an updated version of that picture. Someone with a bit more artistic skill than me turned it into something a bit nicer. And then I sort of had an idea that if this is going to represent my sort of online career, for lack of a better word, then it should probably be something that's a bit more unique, not just the companion cube. So I just swapped the cube out for a TV. And then after a couple of commissions later, it became what it is exactly right now, which is specifically the CRT kind of TV with the SCART lead ports, because that's the era that I grew up playing games. So it makes sense to me that my logo should sort of represent that. What's my favorite SFM channel? I don't really watch any SFM, although I am amazed by the things that people can turn out. So why don't you guys recommend your favorite SFM channels, and hopefully we'll get some awesome answers in the comments. What's the hardest video I've had to make and how long did it take? That is probably going to be the video games don't need NFTs video. It's basically a 20-minute animated infographic, and it was the first video that I ever made in After Effects. I don't keep a record of my hours that I spend, but it's probably over 100 hours on that video, including watching so many After Effects tutorials. I think I've watched everything that Ben Marriott has ever uploaded, and I just basically crammed After Effects before I even touched the video so I could understand what the software was even capable of. And I'm really happy with the results. I turned that into something that was essentially what the vision was in my mind. So I was really happy with that, and I don't think I'll do it again because it took so long. And its views, again, I could talk for ages about the meta of YouTube, but it seems to have done quite poorly. And then every time I've uploaded since, it's had a huge boost in views. So maybe it will continue to get these huge boosts every time I upload, and eventually it will sort of not pay for itself, because this isn't my job, so I don't earn enough money to live off YouTube. But if it can sort of hit some imaginary goal that I don't actually know what it is and achieve the views that I think it's probably the effort equal to, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. How do I fight with burnouts? Well, as I just said, this isn't my job, so I can essentially just stop. I do, and I stop all the time. I just don't work on a video if I don't want to. So probably not a great answer for someone who wants to know how to manage their own burnout, maybe, but do with this first and foremost because you enjoy it. If at any moment you're not enjoying, just don't do it. You don't have to do it. Only you is telling yourself to do it, unless you're in a position where it is your job, then obviously that's a different kettle of fish. But I'm guessing if you're asking this or you're interested in an answer to this question, it's not your job. And I don't think anyone should treat it as their job until it absolutely is their job, until you are living off it. And once you've got to that point, make sure that you enjoy it. You don't want to be living off a creative outlet if you don't enjoy that creative outlet. Content creation isn't for everyone. Sometimes you have to just ask yourself, oh, am I doing this because I like watching content and I just want to emulate that? Or do I actually enjoy it? It's okay to not enjoy it. And it's okay to stop, take a break for as long as you want. You're not going to let anyone down. Fans, viewers are super understanding of these sort of things, especially as time goes on and it becomes more normalized. So yeah, don't put pressure on yourself to create. Have a break. And take as much time as you need, even if it's forever. What is my favorite and least favorite update? It's hard to pick a favorite. I'm just going to say gunmetal, because I do think basically that's a battle pass, right? That most games have these days, except it came out 7 years ago, before battle passes were the accepted standard. Like, they could refresh that automatically. Like, they could set up some scripts that essentially release a gunmetal every 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. They're not going to do that. They're not doing that. I don't know why. I do think gunmetal sort of gave me a reason to play the game more than any other update has, other than, like maybe MVM or something like that. My least favorite, anything that's adding content to the game is good, but I think what Meet Your Match did to the quick play, whilst things are in a decent place right now, I think it probably did more harm than good. But that's if I had to pick a negative one. My favorite class is the Spy, although I don't really play Spy anymore because I've fallen off in skill so hard that I just get miserable if I try and play Spy at any time. So I tend to pick Pyro, kind of the antithesis to Spy, where I don't have to think too hard and can still achieve enough. Will I make another lo-fi games video? Well, First of all, thank you so much. I really appreciate when my older and slightly more avant-garde videos get some love. I would love to do a sequel, and I've actually got a list of games ready to do in a sequel and a short script getting going. Based on the sort of views that got, I don't know if I will eventually go and make that, but maybe. As for recommendations, I really recommend Dwarf Romantic. That's probably my game of the year from last year or the year before. I can't remember when it came out now. The ramp is awesome. It's really short. There's not a lot to do, but it's really good to just zone out for a short while. I just started playing Cloud Gardens. I don't know if I'll play it to completion, but it is a great little Zen game. And Spring Falls. Spring Falls is beautiful. It's such a simple puzzle game, but it's one of those puzzle games that gets it just right in terms of how difficult the puzzles are and how rewarding it is and all of that sort of stuff. It's fairly short, but I had a really nice time playing that, so I recommend that one. What's my favorite food? I'd probably say fruit. I quite like fruit. Nectarines being my favorite. Strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. And I'm also much more into crisps or chips, potato chips, as many places call them. We call them crisps. Much more than chocolate. I could devour a family bag of crisps, but one chocolate bar, and I'm like, okay, that's enough. My favorite unusual effects and weapons. I really like circling hearts and haunted ghosts. Those are probably my two favorites. My least favorite unusual effects are probably anything that sort of just sits above the hat. I sort of like the sort of look of an effect that goes around the hat, if that makes sense. But I don't think any of them are objectively bad or anything. If I had to pick a favorite weapon, I would go aesthetically for the sharpened volcano fragment. It just looks badass. And if I had to pick my least favorite weapon, it would probably be the Razorback. But that's coming from a salty former spy main, so you know. And the last question here that I'm going to answer is, where do I see myself in the future? I don't really play a lot of TF2. In fact, playing to get these clips is the first time I've played since, well, other than a charity event a couple of weeks ago, whenever I last needed to record clips, which if you've noticed in my videos, I try to avoid needing clips these days. And I didn't have a lot of fun getting these clips, not just because of the snipers, but it's I think I've had my fun with TF2. For 5 years, there's been no new content, and that's fine. They don't need to make new content. But for me, as someone who's played since 2009, and obviously have played the same thing for the last 5 years, I think I've just had enough for now. With that said, I do still have a lot of TF2 video ideas, so I probably will still make TF2 videos, and I'll just try and avoid needing clips. Try and structure my videos such that they don't need actual gameplay. I might do a TF2 cameos in other games too, because there's a lot of great games that people have recommended, and that video obviously has done very well, so it makes sense to capitalize on that as long as I'll have fun doing it. But I do enjoy making the more generic anthology. They're basically list videos, like top 5, top 10s, but without the numbers. So there's the Lo-Fi Games video that we talked about a moment ago. There's Steam Sale Syndrome, a video that did really well on my channel actually, so I've tried to emulate that a couple of times, but it's kind of hard to sell that video in the sense of a title and thumbnail when most of the subscribers are just looking for something that says TF2 in it. But the TF2 cameos video was basically that. There wasn't any TF2 gameplay in that video. If you like the style of that video, then you should like the other videos that I put out that don't reference TF2 at all. That's the dream anyway. I do actually plan to make a few shorts of my older, most popular videos, and again, they won't be pushed out to subscribers, so unless you actively browse shorts, you can just ignore those or you'll never see them. And other than that, I do have the intent to make a second channel, completely unrelated. It's basically, I want to do a generic, interesting facts channel. Think about channels like Let Me Know, Fascinating Horror, Salmonella, Oversimplified. There's a bunch more channels that exist in this genre, but since lockdown, that's something that me and my girlfriend have watched so many hours of, just interesting facts. I'm reluctant to use the word documentary because I think that would massively oversell what the content actually is, but that's the sort of thing. But that would be a second channel, and I would announce that separately if it ever came. And yeah, that's the future. Whether that's here on another channel or on a live stream that may or may not happen, or on a Discord, which you should definitely go and join, I shall see you there. Of course, once again, thank you so much for 100,000 subs. That is just really awesome. Bye.